Hey guys, today's video is why do friends, family members, boyfriends, husbands continue relationships with people? It could be anybody, friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands, anybody that has, any form of mental illness, whether that's bipolar, borderline, schizophrenia. I think the easiest way to put this is number one reason is because we love these people. Like, for example, me and my ex-girlfriend have had a million fights the last year. But the God's honest truth is the reason why I've stuck through is number one, I care very much about her children. I've known her daughter, who's 14. I've known her daughter since she was 5 years old. So I've always been in this family's life. That's why I haven't cut ties with my friend. I joke around about her being borderline all the time. The number one thing is I'm not a doctor, so I can't really diagnose her. It's not really fair. Um, we're hoping to get answers to this. Me and her spent a year dating. We started hanging out like the other day, and the reason why is because she really needed a ride bad. I'm a person that really loves this person. I'm a person that really cares about this person. I dated her for an entire year. I was her friend. I am her friend. I joke about her being borderline. I can't really label her borderline because I'm not a doctor. But the main reason why people like me stick it out in these type of friendships and these type of relationships is because I do love this person. There may be times where you have to terminate a situation like this. Me and her relationship is not violent. The most we've ever done is maybe got into an argument, you know, I think that me and her as friends can work on reducing police calls, reducing fights, reducing arguments, not yelling in front of the kids because the kids, have seen me and her yell at each other before. We're trying to eliminate that from happening. We decided, let's just be friends for a while. Because I'm kind of like a helper right now. Like I help her with her seizures during school hours. When the kids are at school, nobody's with her and she has grand mal seizures. Why would I forgive? Like we got into an argument last week, where she ended up putting a no trespass order on me. She dropped the order. She actually dropped the no trespassing order yesterday. So I'm kind of giving this to you as an update, guys. The reason why I don't ghost this person, the reason why I don't go out of her life is because some of these behaviors she might not have control of. Some of these behaviors she could be in psychosis. Some of these behaviors she just might be having a bad day. Some of these behaviors, like I said, she might literally be having a reaction. Like for example, when somebody's PTSD gets triggered, sometimes they can't control their reactions. They might get upset if they have PTSD. That could be an uncontrollable response, like rage. Certain medications, like my ex-girlfriend is on a lot of medications. Some of these medications could be causing behaviors, and for me to just ghost out of her life really isn't fair because she's a mental health client. She's a mental health person. Known this person for about 15 years. And if you're gonna ghost these type of individuals, then why be in their life to start? Why be in somebody's life that has mental health diagnoses if you're just gonna ghost them when they show symptoms of that mental illness? Like last week, me and my girlfriend got in an argument, or my ex-girlfriend, we got in an argument in the vehicle, in which I had to cancel an appointment. She had a kind of a strong reaction to this. Most likely, this is probably a PTSD reaction or an anxiety reaction. Um, I dropped them off at the police station. While at the police station, the police kind of pushed her into an order. They were threatening to arrest me and my girlfriend, even though we literally hadn't done anything except argue. The police kind of put it to her, oh, you can either put a restraining order on him or you can put a no trespass order. They didn't give her the option to not do anything. So I felt like they steered her into that no trespass order just because they get sick and tired of dealing with me and my girlfriend. But she's mental health. I have my own mental health things going on as well. About 10 years ago, I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder, bipolar type 1. This was about 10 years ago. My up and down emotions aren't so bad these days. You can recover from these type of mental health diagnoses. You can fully recover. I have mild PTSD, which I've learned coping skills to deal with that. But if my girlfriend truly is BPD, some of the behaviors that she is doing, she may absolutely have no control over. She might have no control over a PTSD reaction or an anxiety reaction. Love hate cycles is one of the main symptoms of borderline, where they see you black and white. They tend to value their relationships, their family relationship, friendships, romantic partners. They tend to value these people. And then when they get in bad space, when they get triggered, they see you as all black and white. Basically, they see you as all black in that moment when they're upset. Black being the representation of bad. They don't see all the good things you've done to them. It's called splitting. A borderline individual will have splitting when they're triggered. So they only seeing you as a bad person at that time. This is a mental illness. Like when she put the trespass order on me, this could have been a split. This could have been a BPD devaluement cycle. This could have been, splitting. This could have been a bipolar episode. This could have been a PTSD reaction. But that's why I'm not quick to just ghost my ex-girlfriend, ghost my friend, because I genuinely do care about this person. I care about her safety. I care about her as a person. I care about her kids. I've known her daughter since she was 5 years old. This isn't the first time I've lived with her daughter. Me and my ex-girlfriend had an apartment in a town pretty far away. We had an apartment together with her daughter when her daughter was 5. We spent 3 or 4 months together. We rented an apartment because she was homeless at the time and her daughter was only 5. So I've been like a father figure to her kids for a long time. For me to just ghost out of the kid's life is really heartless. Like the police want me to just ghost this person. They want me to give up on my girlfriend. They want us to just part ways. The police chief says, I say to him, she can't be alone during school hours. It's dangerous. What if she has a grand mal seizure? The police chief says, oh, it's no big deal. I'll just respond. I don't mind responding to medical calls. He apparently doesn't understand how bad her seizures can get. She literally can choke on fluids when she's having a seizure that could lead to death. This just goes to show you that people out here in society, they really don't care about your family. They really don't care about your friends if that's not their family. Would the police chief treat his family like that? Oh, I will respond to it. If she has a seizure, we'll respond to it. No big deal. If my friend has a seizure, a grand mal seizure, she could literally choke to death. So it's not just police responding to the call. They could be responding to her dying. That's why I'm not quick to ghost this person. This person really does need a friend like me in her life that's not going to ghost her for behaviors. If you're going to be involved with someone that's bipolar, someone that's borderline, she may or may not be borderline. I don't know because I'm not a doctor. She needs to get diagnosed. But if you're going to be involved with these type of mental health clients, these mental health people diagnosed with these diagnoses, if you're going to be quick to ghost them or end the relationship, then why get in it to begin with? Like, I've known my ex-girlfriend for about 15 years. I've known her for a long, long time. And I'm not going to be quick to just say, screw this person, because I care about her. I think the number one reason why, ex-boyfriends like me, boyfriends like me stay in these relationships is we genuinely love these women. We genuinely love, if it's another person, it could be that they love a man. They genuinely love the person with these different mental health diagnoses. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be bipolar, it could be BPD, it could be schizophrenia. If they're showing you symptoms of their mental illness and you just ghost out of their life, what kind of friend are you when they could have been literally having a PTSD reaction? Or if it's BPD, it could be a love-hate cycle. They could literally be in psychosis. They could be triggered into a psychosis, stress-induced psychosis. A BPD woman can go into psychosis. She may not even understand what she's doing. She called me the other night. I was at my house. She said she didn't have a ride yesterday. And this was like 25, 30 miles away from her house, and she has no vehicle. She was talking about, I might just walk. This is a highly dangerous situation for her. She has seizures. She has grand mal seizures. So of course, me being the friend, even though we got in a fight last week, even though she put the no trespass order on me, I care about her safety. Am I putting myself at some risk being in these type of situations? Yes, because the police have threatened to arrest us before, but they need a reason to arrest us. They can't just arrest us because we're arguing at home or arguing in the vehicle. I don't see that as an arrestable offense. But for them to steer her towards a no trespass order, steer her towards a restraining order, like those are her only choices, not telling her you don't have to put this no trespass order. And I feel like they're leading her into trying to separate us, which isn't good for her. Like I said, they're like, oh well, we'll just respond to the house. They could be responding to her dying. Um, there might be times where I have to go for a walk. If my ex-girlfriend's escalating, there might be times where I need to go for a walk. There might be times where I need to go home for the night to give her space because I have my own house. There might be times where we have to take space. But the bottom line is, if you ever wondered why do these boyfriends stay in these type of relationships, why do these husbands stay in this type of relationship, it's because we understand borderline personality. We understand bipolar. We understand psychosis, and we understand that this person might not understand what they're doing. It's kind of one of those situations where Jesus said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." That could be your girlfriend or your partner. They might literally be in psychosis and not know what they're doing. They might be under a hate cycle, which is part of their mental illness, and they might not understand how they're treating you because of the mental illness. The best thing you can do as the partner or the boyfriend is to give this person space when needed. Get your shoes on to prevent domestic violence. Leave the house to prevent domestic violence. Go home for the night. Like I have my own house. I can go home for the night if she needs space. But you won't see me easily just walk away from the kids as well because my dad abandoned me. I don't want to be that kind of person to abandon the kids that I actually really do care about. I really do want to be their stepdad. I really do want to care about them. Can I be in their life all the time? Maybe not. Well, me and their mom have our fights and breakups, probably. Like right now, we're just doing the friend thing. We're doing the friend thing without, any benefits. We're just being friends, because I want to be that volunteer helper. I'm not getting paid for it, but she needs somebody with her during school hours because she's at risk. And having other strangers gives her anxiety. So her knowing me for about 15, 20 years, she feels safe around me. She knows I'm not going to physically hurt her. She feels safe around me. But for the police to try to break us up, I think is pretty heartless because it's not just you responding to calls. It's literally you could be responding to my ex-girlfriend dying, choking to death. And I'm not willing to take that risk because I care about this person. I love this person. She is not a bad person. She's just a person that has a diagnosis just like me. I have bipolar type 1. That's what they diagnosed me with 10 years ago. They diagnosed me 10 years ago. This is about 9, 10 years ago, back in 2016. After I had gotten in trouble, I got diagnosed while I was in drug court. I got diagnosed with bipolar type 1 and PTSD. I have anxiety. I have depression. Um, but like I said, I can't diagnose my ex-girlfriend. I say she has BPD all the time. I'm pretty much just guessing because of the love-hate cycles. My ex-girlfriend, my friend, exhibits love-hate cycles where a couple days at a time, she's loving the shit out of me. Like even last night, she was all sweet to me and caring and loving. This morning, she was all sweet to me and caring and loving, but she might have a couple days where she's in a hate cycle, where she's devaluing me. It's part of her mental health disorder where she might be devaluing me. She might be upset. Um, that's why I'm just going to understand the mental illness and say, hey, maybe she needs space today. Maybe I need to go home today. Maybe I need to go for a walk. But if you're going to be friends with someone with a mental health diagnosis, you got to cut these people slack because they're not going to be perfect all the time. A BPD woman is not going to be perfect all the time. She's going to have behaviors. She's going to have blow ups. She's going to have, behaviors like happened to me last week. She put the no trespass on me. She dropped it yesterday. So now we can hang out again. Now I can help her at a house. Now when the kids are at school, I can be there. Like last week while she had the order on me, she says she has a seizure and she was really out of it, and she really thinks she had a seizure when I wasn't there. This is what I'm talking about, guys. She's at risk. When the kids got off the bus, she was like hanging off the bed. She might have been passed out. She might have had a seizure. She thinks she had a seizure. This is why she needs somebody with her, a friend, a family member. She don't really trust other strangers. She don't really want to have stranger staff there because it's scary to her. She has anxiety. She has PTSD. Women like this, you gotta cut them slack because they're not going to be perfect all the time. But if you want to know why people like me stay in the picture when things can be chaotic, I'm being threatened by arrest for the police for things I'm not even doing. If you want to know why I stay in the picture, it's because I love the kids. Like they're my own kids. They're my stepkids, and I love them. I love them very much. I would give my life for both kids if it came down to that. I've already decided if it came down to life or death situation, I would give my life for the kids. I would give my life for my ex-girlfriend if it came right down to it. Because I love them. That's the answer to today's video, guys, is I stay in this relationship. The police chief says that me and my ex-girlfriend's relationship is toxic. But she needs people in her life. Her mom passed away. She needs people in her life. She don't have a lot of friends. And let's be honest, most men out here aren't going to help a woman like my friend unless they're getting laid. They're not going to help a person like my friend. Right now, I am helping her as a friend. We're not having sex right now. We're not being sexual with each other. We're just being friends. And we have a strong friendship. That's why we make it through all these breakups. That's why we make it through no trespass orders and fights and knockdown, drag out fights. Me and her had never gotten physical with each other, so that's good. But I think the police need to do some research on borderline personality disorder and understand that my girlfriend, like last week, that was a hate cycle of borderline. She was triggered because I canceled her daughter's ride because she was escalating. That triggers a hate cycle where she only sees me as black. She only sees me as you're a bad person, because she's feeling hurt in the moment. She might not be able to process what's going on. She might have anxiety. She might be having a PTSD reaction. So I need to just give her space when she needs space. I need to go home for the night when she needs space. I need to get my shoes on and maybe leave the apartment when she needs space. But my ex-girlfriend's safety is one of my number one concerns. I don't want her walking home. I don't want her walking long distance, like a one-way trip. When she didn't have a ride, she was gonna walk the trip. It's 25 miles one way. She could have a seizure while she's on the walk. She could fall into the roadway, get hit by a vehicle. She could get kidnapped. One time the hospital cut her loose and she ended up in a stranger's vehicle, ended up at a stranger's house while she was in psychosis. This is why I don't want my ex-girlfriend walking down the road. She could be in psychosis and be in harm's way. Like yesterday, I drove from my house about an hour to pick her up and then drove another hour to take her to her appointment because I don't want her walking. Even if me and her are on bad terms, I still don't want her walking. I don't want her walking home from the hospital. This is a person I care about. I don't want her walking home and end up in a stranger's car. I don't want her end up at a person's house like happened to her when she was in psychosis last year. The hospital cut her loose in psychosis. She ends up in a stranger's vehicle and it ends up at a stranger's house. This is why I don't let my ex-girlfriend walk around like that. I don't want her to be at risk of being with the wrong person. I don't want her at risk of being in the wrong vehicle and getting sexually assaulted or getting hurt. But the number one reason why us boyfriends, we go through all these fights and breakups and stay in the picture is because we genuinely love these people. We genuinely love our bipolar girlfriend. We genuinely love our borderline girlfriend. We don't want to see these people harmed, which we know can happen if we don't act. If I hadn't given her a ride yesterday, she would have been upset and probably tried to walk, which she could have easily been hurt or harmed trying to do that. Especially if she's trying to walk on the overnight shift, which she could have gone into crisis and just started walking the 25 miles. Borderline women will do stuff like that when they're in crisis. They would literally try to walk 25 miles when they're in crisis. Borderline women will do that. I don't know if my ex-girlfriend's borderline or not. We're going to have a doctor, talk to both of us and figure it out. Maybe I'm the borderline. Maybe I'm the one with bipolar. Maybe I'm borderline. Maybe I'm the one with PTSD and anxiety. So I'm no better off than my girlfriend. I have mental health stuff I deal with. I deal with anxiety. I deal with fear from PTSD. Sometimes I get scared when I'm alone. Sometimes I have anxiety attacks. Sometimes I feel hurt. Sometimes I feel depressed, and it's important when you have a loved one that has a mental health diagnosis, you got to cut them slack. They're going to exhibit symptoms of their mental illness. Be a good friend, be a family member. You kind of almost have to have that unconditional love because the borderline individual is not going to be perfect all the time. They're going to cycle with you. They're going to cycle with family, friends, and loved ones. And it's important for a loved one, a friend, to understand the mental illness, understand borderline, understand bipolar, understand anxiety and PTSD, so that you can leave when you need to. You can give them space when you want to. But ghosting the borderline, ghosting a bipolar person or someone that suffers from PTSD is really quite heartless and selfish, because you knew that they had a mental health diagnosis when you started this friendship. You knew they were BPD. And so to just ghost the person is heartless. Until next time, thank you for watching the video. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Until next time, Steve signing out.